Welcome back, everybody. My name is Mustafa Ahmed. Today, we're discussing a very, very, very interesting topic. So I stumbled upon some very, very top secret information, some very unique information, and this information has led me to almost pinpoint the exact location of the barrier of Yajjuj and Majjuj, or you call it in English Gog and Magog. So, without disclosing some of the information I've been given, I will leave a description in the link below to anybody who wants to further and verify this information, right? Because I do feel it is let's say, necessary and it's incumbent upon me to share this information. For it shouldn't be just for one person. It should be for the collective, everybody, humanity. With that being said, so what do we know about Ya'juj and Ma'juj? Okay, let me take us a little back, right, and give you some information that helps put everything into perspective. So humanity, according to science, they think that humanity has been alive for about 300,000 years, right? And according to the biblical text, is about almost 10,000 years. And Islam does not specifically point to exactly how long it's been, right? But from my research, from what I discovered, and from the information that's been given to me, humanity has actually been alive for almost 700 to 600,000 years, right? So almost, you would say, half a million years plus, right? And in this time period, there's many generations have come, and many generations have gone, right? And documented history has only been around for about, I would say, 6,000 years. I mean, 3,000 years, and we have archaeology dating back around 6,000 or 4,000 years of documented history, talking about the Stone Age and the Iron Age. So why is this information relevant to this topic right here? So from what I know, if humanity is 600,000 years, from the time from Adam all the way from Noah, right? It's half of that. So I would say Noah is around the 300,000 year mark. That's where the Great Flood happened. That's where almost a new chapter of human civilization has started. And this puts a lot of rivers and water area that was not there before, right? So if you look at any textbook, right, everybody says there was something called Pangea, any science textbook, and the world has shifted apart, right? But there was an acceleration of that too, coming with the Great Flood. So that means there has been a group of people, right, that has lived for almost 300,000 years that is very different than the human race that we actually see today. And that's where you have the theory of evolution happen, where you have all these Neanderthals and all these other human-like beings. However, they have different features, right? And this brings me to the topic of Ya'juj and Ma'juj. So there's always been a very controversial issue. Are these people human, right? Are these people aliens? And what is so dangerous about these people? So, with that being said, um, we know from the scriptures, we know from the Quran that Adam alayhi salam was about 60 feet tall. And we know there was also a people called Ad that were also giants and huge, right? And they had great might, and that's what Allah has given them, right? So they were also human. They were all descendants of Adam. However, they were given different people, different nations were given different things, right? And we know that Allah says, وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ, right? We've made you guys different, right? So let's right? So you guys can get to know one another. So we have Asians, we have whites, we have blacks, right? We have Spanish, we have Arabs, all these different groups of people, right? Are mixed. We're all humans, right? And then the day, however, we are different and we also have different features. Therefore, this creation, Ya'juj and Ma'juj, is also the exact same thing, right? It is a creation of Allah, like any other creations of Allah. And however, Allah gave them very specific and powerful things, features, right? So, from my understanding, and if you really look into the description below, you're going to have an animation video of this whole thing. And it's very important that everybody watches it. From my understanding, these creatures of Ya'juj and Ma'juj are almost, you would say, monkey-like and human-like mixed together. They're still human, however, they have very strong features, right? Where you would almost take the size of them would be like the size of a gorilla, right? And they will procreate so much, so much so that for every one of us, there's 99 of them, 99, almost 1,000 of them, 999 of them, right? So for one of us, there's almost 1,000 of them. With that being said, how can such a group of people, right, and such also large group of people be hidden from the world, right? So it is this now. This part is my assumption of it. So I assume that the Dhul Qarnayn, when he came and he actually blocked the barrier between Yajjuj and Majjuj, he was actually before the time of Nuh alayhi salam. And I will say Allahu Alam, I don't know this if this is accurate, but he was a time where he had great power, great might, and these people were causing great devastation on the earth. And he blocked them behind the barrier. And blocking them behind the barrier, right? These were not normal people. Then later on came the flood of Noah. So these people are, I would say, almost somewhere under the sea level, right? Where there's a tunnel coming out into the open, right? So there's a mountain range and there's a tunnel going in all the way in, right? And huge amount of underneath, under Earth's surface, you would find these people. That's why you can't really see them by satellites. So, with that being said, um, these people were different because they were like the people of Ad. They had great strength and great power, right? That we know in the end of times that nobody, no human of us, can actually physically fight them, right? Even without weapon and without technology. Think about like almost like my best analogy would be like King Kong or the Hulk fighting against one of us, right? It's game over. So now everybody click this video because they want to know where exactly is Ya'juj and Ma'juj. Okay. So I get this from also from Imran Hussein, right? I know he's a controversial person, but you have to give credit where credit is due, right? And so when you analyze the Quran, and the Quran is almost like a secret, like treasure map, a secret roadmap, right? And it leaves clues in there for us to discover. So if you analyze the Quran, we know that Dhul Qarnayn, when he first walked, he walked all the way towards where the sun sets and there's murky water. So he's going somewhere towards where the west is, right? And where the sun is coming down, right? So we've deduced that this area is the Black Sea because Allah calls it murky water, dark water, right? So the only really sea body where it's to west of him would be the Black Sea. Because then he also continues to travel back towards the east, where he comes to another body of water, which is the Caspian Sea, right? And then he's now between two mountain ranges, right? Which is the Deral Gorge. This is where Azerbaijan is, right? And Uzbekistan is region, right? Or Armenia is Armenia, Georgia, and Azerbaijan region. And this specific region, right? If you can take a look, I don't know if you can see it very clearly, but this area right here would be the Black Sea, right? And that area right there would be the Caspian Sea, right here, Caspian Sea and the Black Sea. So this barrier, right, between it, this right here, this thing where Georgia would be, that would be the mountain range. And there's gonna be a better video visualizing this. And we know that Ya'juj and Ma'juj are going to be coming from the north region because the hadith says there is the Sea of Galilee in Jerusalem where every group or battalion of them would be passing by the sea and they would drink from it almost towards the last one where they would say, well, there used to be water here. Where is the water? So we know that they're coming from the north region, right? So we're between two waterways, right? And between the mountain range, and then there's a barrier. So why have we not discovered this region yet? Right? Why is it so hidden if we know exactly where the location is? Keep in mind that this information that I'm given, it took. So I had another question before I give this answer. Somebody asked me if Ya'juj and Ma'juj were that strong and that powerful, right? And why did they not fight Dhul Qarnayn while he was making that barrier? Why did they just let him do it? So these creatures kind of think them like, again, they're humanoid to with something else, as well as you would say that they can hibernate, right? So they would actually take 6 months to hibernate in this region. So what Dhul actually did was there's two passageways he blocked. He blocked the inner passageway, right? And he crumbled it upon themselves where they can't get out. And then he started building that wall, right? And is that wall is the wall that Allah describes in the Quran, right? Where it's mixed with bronze and copper to make, iron and copper to make bronze, right? and it took him 6 years to actually build that wall. So that information is going to be in the description where I got this information from. So it took him 6 years to actually build that barrier. So when he actually built that barrier, there he needed the people that wanted that protection against them. He needed their help, their manpower, right? Because it was almost a very, very steep area and a very dangerous climb, that mountain. And to actually bring those resources to that mountain region, it took a very, very long time and a lot of work, right? So he did not need the wealth. He actually needed manpower to actually block this barrier. So we know that this barrier is somewhere very, very steep, very, very high in the mountain ranges. So it's not on the low level, right? And the tunnel, though, that buries into the mountain goes really, really deep into the ground, into the earth. So, with that being said, when the Prophet ﷺ woke up and said that there's a crack in the barrier 1400 years ago, right? He wasn't only just talking about the first wall. He's talking about the actual tunnel barrier, right? That's my assumption because by now they would have actually broke through that wall if it's been 1400 years. So there's two layers to it, right? And then that tunnel has been almost cleaned out, and now they're at the last stage, right, where that wall that they're going to build with the bronze, right? And they're ramming in it every single day, right, trying to break it. So on top of that, there's something very interesting because it is my belief from the information I got that they will be coming out in this generation, right? Within maybe I would say 10, 20 years, Allahu Alam, right? And Allah protect us because we are very close towards the end. All it's going to take is a trigger spot. And the reason we do not see this barrier, right, is that there is, you would say, the natural greenery covering that barrier, right? So you would say the moss, the trees, the shrubs, all building upon that barrier. So that barrier is not apparent. You don't just see, oh, there's a wall there, you know. It almost looks like the natural ecosystem, like the actual gravel, everything has been covering it. So anybody walking through it, anybody climbing this mountain region will not find it, will not discover it. With that being said, I will leave this episode till now, and please watch the description below to verify the information I say, and do not take my everything I say as fact, because the pretty much you should verify before you confirm, hey, this person's saying the truth. And do not dismiss what I'm saying without verifying it either. Don't say, oh, he doesn't know, nobody really knows. That's true, right? But there are signs and signposts leading to where they are, right? um with that, I'll exactly in the next coming episodes exactly pinpoint where the actual mountain is, what is the mountain, right, and where they are coming from. So stay tuned for that, inshallah. And wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.